and welcome to Americans Talk Australian Survivor. I'm Rachel.
I'm Leah.
And I'm Matt.
Thanks for joining us. We just watched episode 14 of Australian Survivor, Brains vs. Brawn 2, and there will be spoilers ahead. We open up on the beach, and Paulie is not happy, just as we suspected. He was very close to going home last night. He has his head injury, and no one's even asked him about it.
Right. He seemed so disappointed.
Yeah, he said he had no friends. He didn't expect that vote. And like you said, no one asked him about his head. And I just do not understand why no one likes him. He seems like a nice guy. I cannot figure this out.
I did notice that the bandage on his head looked different. It looked larger.
Oh, yeah, much larger.
Yeah. So he's visiting medical.
Right. But they did show a little shot, and Kate did ask him about his head.
She heard him say,
yeah,
no one's asking.
Yeah. Maybe. But Paulie is observing that everyone is in a pair, and he's a lone wolf. So I thought that was interesting how he sees that.
And they are. I mean, it certainly seems that everybody has a buddy.
Yeah, we see like Petey and Kristen are together, AJ and Miles are together. But I was looking at Kalen. Did he have a buddy?
I don't know.
I can't think of anyone that he's particularly close to. We know that he's in an alliance with Logan and Laura and the girls. He's also close to AJ and Miles, but does he have like a number one in the game? I was thinking if I were Paulie, I'd go after Kalen because they're both strong men. I mean, I guess that's really where their commonalities end, but they also are both kind of in this stage of the game where they don't have like an absolute number one.
Yeah, you're right.
Right.
I guess I forgot about him.
Kalen just seems like a nice guy and seems to be going along with everything. He doesn't seem to be causing any waves.
Yeah, he may not be the best person to approach to make a big change, but I just thought that's at least one person that Paulie could try to approach.
Right. You're right, Rachel. That's good. Well, then you see AJ, and he's talking to Logan and Christy, and he says, let's dump all the votes on Paulie.
They are absolutely all for Paulie.
It seemed to be a theme going throughout this episode.
Yes.
So we did see Kalen stirring up a little bit of drama. He goes to AJ and he mentions Logan's idol. Mm-hmm. So as we recall back when we were off the show for a little bit, Kalen, Logan, and Karin were all idol hunting, and Logan found it and showed Karin and Kalen immediately. And just the three of them were going to find out. They said, don't tell anyone else. And then Kalen spills it to AJ, who's been targeting Logan.
Yeah, I wonder why he did that. I was surprised.
I guess to build trust. I think like you were just saying, like he's just a very go with the flow, trusting person. I wonder, is he thinking strategically? Does he think that he's closer to AJ than he is to Logan? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know. But he certainly got AJ wound up, and AJ's like, well, that's who I want out.
Well, I will say we were making fun of AJ and Miles last episode for saying that they have all of the information in the entire game. Yeah. But in this situation, they kind of did, because now AJ knows that Logan has an idol. He goes to Miles and tells him, and Miles has that advantage where he can steal an idol from anyone. So they do have quite a bit of information and power between the two of them at this point.
Right.
I can't remember. Does AJ have a idol?
No, he played it the night Noonan went home.
Oh, okay. So, yeah.
Right, because then in just a couple minutes they said that Kristen, Miles, and Logan all have idols. Just the three of them.
Okay.
But Miles has the steal an idol and an idol.
Right. So Miles, yeah, he really does have a lot of power in this game.
And does anyone? I don't think anyone knows he has that idol.
I was just going to say, I don't think he's told AJ about that idol that he has actually in his pocket. So good for Miles. He's keeping it quiet.
He's playing a very, very good game. That's for sure.
And that reminds me, we put on the Instagram poll over at ATA Survivor, who is your winner pick now that we've reached the merge? And a lot of people were saying Miles. Karin got a few votes as well. But I think, Matt, you had picked Miles originally as your winner pick. What do you think now?
That's true. Well, I really like how Logan is playing, and I'm thinking that she's going to win, and I think that Miles is going to stumble somehow in the next coming episodes and be voted out. But so I had him in the beginning. I'll just stir up the pot a little bit and say that he's not going to win now. But I'll be happy if he does at the end, and then I can say I picked him at the beginning. Just kidding. So I don't think that Miles is going to win.
All right, and I picked Morgan, and I feel badly because I feel like I still do not know Morgan. We haven't really seen much of her. She doesn't seem to be that aggressive. So now this is kind of, I think, what maybe a lot of people are thinking. I'm thinking Miles will win because Miles is really good at this game. And I think he'll continue winning unless someone votes him out tomorrow night. I don't know. But right now, I think he looks really good. And another top person might be Logan or Laura.
I was thinking my winner pick right now is Kate. I had originally thought Karin, and I still really like Karin. I think she's playing an awesome game. But Kate seems to be playing an interesting game where she had a pretty low profile until just a couple episodes ago. And now she won an immunity challenge. Well, maybe not immunity. She won the individual reward, which I think puts her more likely to win an individual immunity in the future.
Yes.
She doesn't have any enemies. And I think that's important. I'm looking at Miles and he has a lot of enemies. I'm looking at Logan and she has enemies. AJ, Polly, all these people have some conflict, and Kate doesn't seem to have anyone ever talking about her name or ever really targeting her. She's close with Morgan. She's close with the Girls Gone Wild Alliance. She has the original Brawn. So I'm looking at her for the future winner, but we'll see what happens.
Well, you're correct. She doesn't seem to have any enemies.
Right. I think when you just said that, I'm like, maybe Kate could win the whole game. Well, that's a fun thing also about watching because anybody could win. Like last time, I thought it's either Kirby or Ferris. No other people did I think could win. But in this season, there's so many different people with strong personalities. I think any of them could win.
It's anyone's game at this point.
Right, exactly.
Lots of possibilities.
If you missed the Instagram poll, don't worry. You can still send us a message and let us know who your winner pick is. We would love to find out. But moving into the immunity challenge, no reward again this episode, just immunity. We see the players have to pull down on a bar to kind of balance a spool overhead. It looks very uncomfortable, and PD sits out yet again.
Oh my gosh, this isn't right. Come on.
Unfortunately, I feel
agree.
like there should be a limit as to how many challenges you can miss, because
Right.
at some point you do just have to say, okay, it's time to call this a medical pool at this point.
Right.
Yes.
So Jonathan says these you can really see about the arms and back muscles. That's what you need for this challenge. And I have to say, boy, the women and men both really have some incredible arms. They looked really good.
Everyone was out swimming in preparation for
Yeah.
Survivor
Yeah.
and was hitting the gym.
Yeah, I
so
guess
great
so.
job, everyone,
Yeah.
for getting ready. When we were first looking at it, Zara even said it herself that Polly might win this challenge. And I was looking through the players and I agreed. Polly looked like he had a lot of strength. He wasn't shaking from the beginning. And he knew that he needed this immunity win desperately. So I was really
Right.
excited for him to possibly pull out this win. And he ended up being the second one out. He didn't
know,
even
what a
realize
surprise.
that his spool had fallen. And I was really disappointed to see that. I wish that there would have been like a click or a little sound that,
Yes.
like any indication that he was going to stop, because I think he had the endurance to keep going. He just somehow missed it.
Right.
It's
I
just a
agree with you.
difficult challenge because you can't see that you're about to. You had to like twist backwards, sort of, or someone else had to give you a heads up that your spool was rolling. So it is kind of a weird challenge that you don't even know that you're in danger, right? He would have done something had he known that it was halfway.
Sure, yeah. He wanted to stick in. And it's funny because, like you mentioned before, Zara thought that Polly could win, and she was hoping that Kaylin would beat Polly. So she thought that those would be the two last people standing. But it wasn't. There was a showdown between Kaylin and Kristen. That was
Yeah,
pretty
I was
good.
impressed.
Kristen looked great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They both looked incredibly strong. I didn't know who was going to win. And that went on for 15 minutes, I
Wow.
think. That's a
Yeah. Oh,
long
yeah.
time to
Yeah.
be standing in that position. That's crazy. But finally, Kaylin pulls out the win and gets his first individual immunity necklace.
Now, I have to say, it's interesting because they all come and they hug each other. They really are excited for Kaylin. It's just so wonderful to see how these individuals really seem to support each other and really
Right.
care and hope are happy for them.
Yeah, it's nice, but I wonder if Polly had won, would the reaction have been the
Oh,
same?
you're right.
I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know. You're right. All right. So
I
Polly's...
bet they would have applauded. I don't know if they would
Yeah.
have come over and patted him on the back.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't think it would have been silent.
Right. Patted him on the back after Jonathan was talking about the back muscles.
Yeah. Right.
So then we get back to camp and we just see Polly crying. He really thinks he's gonna, be the next vote. And I'm thinking to myself, he has a lot of avenues left. He's, the snake oil salesman. Maybe he can work with Kaylin. Maybe he can work with the old Brawn tribe. Maybe he can find an immunity idol. We've seen him do it before. But we really don't see him do any of that.
No, just kind of slows down to not
He's
much.
working on a coconut. That's all they kept showing in
Yeah.
the same shot of him trying to open up a coconut, I feel like.
Yeah, so I don't know what the plan was here with Polly. I was expecting more from him. I felt like he was this big, exciting player up until this episode in the game, and now it's like, well, you didn't even try to save yourself.
Yeah, I don't know what happened here. But maybe it's just
Everyone
what they
else-
showed again.
Yeah, but everyone else was busy. So we see the women saying that they want Polly out next, and then AJ saying, absolutely no need to split. Everyone's on board. We see like the same conversation over and over again. They're like, everyone's on board. Everyone's dumping Polly. Everyone's dumping Polly. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, how are we going to fill the rest of this episode?
Right.
Yes, but Laura tells Miles, I want to break up all the buddies, right? And she says, let's get PD out. And Miles likes it. But Laura wants to get some confirmation.
Approval.
Yeah,
Right.
from the women.
Yeah, this was interesting. She specifically said, don't say anything until I talk to the girls. And then we see Miles running around talking as he always does.
Don't say anything.
And he went to
does.
Polly and said that,
Hey, there's a chance that we might get PD tonight.
right.
Well, he shouldn't
or
have said anything.
You're not that you're going to be saved. Yeah. There's an idea of floating around.
I wonder if Miles wanted to be the first to tell Polly, because if Laura had told Polly first, then it's like Laura saved Polly. But if Miles says it first, he
Right.
can almost like take credit for it, maybe. I wonder if that was the strategy, or he was just so excited.
Well,
he
he
wanted
did
to
say
talk first.
he did recognize right away that Polly could be a good ally for him. And he also said that he knows what it's like to be on the bottom. So I think he also has empathy for Polly.
Polly, sure.
Yeah, I also, I think that it's a good point. We've seen this over and over again in the game of Survivor. You get to a point where you have no allies, you have no advantages. You are just a number, right? What's going to happen when Polly leaves tomorrow? They're all going to have to turn on each other, so you may as well pick up Polly as
Right.
a number now
Right.
and start turning on each other.
Sooner.
Whenever there's a unanimous vote, I feel like that should always raise some red flags and think, should we be taking this person out? And Miles is thinking.
He is. He is.
Meanwhile, Laura approaches Morgan and Kate, which I thought was interesting. I would have not gone to them immediately because I'm thinking Morgan and Kate were original Brawn. I know they didn't necessarily work with PD specifically, but I guess the original tribal lines really are that blurred that she can just say, hey, let's get out PD, and they say, okay.
yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I don't feel like there's the former tribes. They don't seem to be
The Brawn for sure.
right.
They're pretty much gone.
Dissolved, yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting also that nothing was mentioned about Zara the whole episode.
Yeah.
About voting
no,
for
not
her.
much. She wasn't even shown that much this time.
Yeah. Then we see Laura head on over to Logan and Karin and tell them the plan to get out PD. And Logan says absolutely not. She
yeah.
is pretty
Wow.
upset.
Yeah.
And I feel like we've seen Logan have this same kind of rant before where she says, you're not going to tell me what to do.
Right,
I always throw out names. And
Yeah.
this never happens.
I'm not going to be dictated to.
Right.
Which I can see what she means. No one ever takes her vote. But at the same time, you have to play the game. You can't just go with your emotions and say, oh, but I've wanted this guy out for so long. You have to think about what's strategic and the benefit of the entire alliance.
But at the end of the game, when you have to stand up in front of the jury, you have to be able to say you did something. So she wants to be able to say, I got Paulie in week 13 or whatever, week 12
Yeah, maybe.
or whatever, day 12 or
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe this is supposed to be her big move, but Logan is not having it. Speaking of Logan, we actually heard over on Instagram, thank you to our viewer who wrote in, we heard that she, a little bit about the AFL situation over there. It sounds like there's no concern for the AFL causing her to have increased screen time like we speculated yesterday. So it sounds like she's not really famous as an AFL wag. She's not Taylor Swift level. girlfriend of a sports player yet. But maybe this show will promote her. So it sounds like she's getting this much airtime because she's just a fun player, I guess. Good at the game.
Yeah.
We see Karin backing up Logan, saying, yeah, we're just not going to do PD tonight. We're going to go Polly. And then Laura, interestingly, just kind of rolled over and took it. She was pretty okay with it.
She said she went to Kate and Miles and said, I can't vote off PD because of Logan. And it's just like, but I mean, she's worried. She doesn't want to mess up her friendship with Logan, but it's just too bad because she has an excellent idea and other people want to run with it.
But she doesn't want to upset Logan, so she knows that then she could be a target.
Yeah.
Well, Miles says that he thinks that everyone are just playing stupid because they're all scared. And, he thinks it's crazy. Let's play a game.
Yeah, Miles is here to play Survivor. And he's right. This is an easy vote. It's too easy. It's not fun. It's not exciting. It's not advancing the game. So I think that's good that Miles is ready to play.
Right.
Miles did say that Logan, she's voting with her heart, not her head. He doesn't know that he wants to play a simple game. And I'm thinking, I wonder if he's thinking now about getting out Logan. And so I was worried for a minute there that Miles was going to run around and say, okay, now all votes on Logan. Because we know AJ would have been down for that. Polly would have done it. Mm-hmm. I feel like PD and Kristen may have done it. I don't know. I guess it would have been a little bit harder to get the numbers, but it wasn't really even a thought that Miles brought up.
Right. And he also said that Logan was stubborn. And then we see Logan, and she's worried that everyone puts that on Polly, but Polly votes for her, and then she's out. But she said she has her idol, and she'll play it.
She's right.
They are showing a lot of different situations that could happen at Tribal.
Yeah, what's kind of funny about this is that we have all these stipulations for if Polly plays an idol. If he plays an idol, then Logan will play an idol. If he plays an idol, then Kristen said that she'll play her idol for PD.
Right.
So it's interesting that there's all this discussion about Polly's idol that he hasn't even looked for.
Yeah.
So
Just
I guess
in case.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's what he was thinking. He was just like, whatever. Everyone will have backup. I don't know. I wish he would have played an idol, or at least had one and come up with a plan.
Right. It seems like Polly's plan was just to let it go.
Yeah. He just maybe was defeated. I'm not sure.
Maybe. But it is tough to be out there, getting all these votes over and over again and having no one really come up and talk to you even.
Yeah, when you see everyone else has like their best friend and you're by yourself, it has to be, think about that in any situation. For a couple hours, you feel horrible. But he's living this, 24 hours. Yeah, you must feel just very sad. But then we go to Tribal, right?
Yeah, and we hear a little bit about the buddy system. We hear that Polly has no buddy. It's sad that he has to, be called out in front of JLP as the only person without a buddy.
I know, and it's like crickets,
Well, he said he lost his buddy.
Yeah, so it's too bad that Noonan's not in the game for him anymore. But I thought Polly did a pretty good job here of pitching himself as saying, I just need a lifeline. I just need someone to be an ally. But why wasn't he saying this earlier? I feel like he should have been walking up to people saying, I'll be in your alliance. You tell me the name and we'll do it. And I feel like it was a little bit too late.
Well, I also felt like Jonathan was trying to help him because he's like, well, Polly, we're talking about you. What, do you have anything to say? So I think Jonathan really was like, come on, Polly, do something, say something. This is your opportunity. I'm giving it to you.
Well, then it is time to vote. And as soon as Jonathan's about to pick the first person to go up and vote, Miles stands up and plays his advantage.
Yes.
So this is the advantage that he has where he can ask someone for an idol and they have to give it to him. And I'm thinking, well, he must be choosing Logan, right? He's been talking about how he doesn't really want to play with Logan anymore. He just found out about Logan's idol. It's perfect. Who did you guys think he was going to ask?
So take Logan's idol and then vote her out.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
I did think that. I looked at Kristen and I thought, well, is he thinking she's going to protect PD? But then I thought, well, that's really... He doesn't like Logan, not PD. So, why don't you do that? But did you see everyone's face? They were all like, what? What? No one could believe he had this advantage. It was something else to watch people's faces.
Kept it to himself.
Yeah.
So that was great. So,
they looked kind of mad almost.
Oh, they looked
like
mad.
Upset that,
oh, yeah.
Obviously it's, only helping his game. But I feel like you've got to be excited that an advantage is being played.
They
I
did
guess
not
if it's-
look. No one. The women did not look excited. They were mad. They were even saying that they're going to get them. They're going to. Once someone said they're going to kill them.
Right.
So they were not happy. But then who does he play it for?
Well, he asked Kristen for her idol.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Initially. And so now that he asked her, I'm thinking, okay, maybe because I guess Kristen's idol was never going to benefit Miles. It was always going to be for her PD or whoever she's working with. And I don't see a way forward for Miles to get any advantage from Kristen's idol. Whereas Logan, prior to this advantage being played, I don't know about after, but prior, he was voting with Logan. They were in communication. They were in talks. So maybe I'm thinking if he had outed Logan as having an idol and then stolen it from her, that would have been absolutely the end of ever having an
Right.
alliance with her or any of the other original Brains women.
Hey, that's a good point because everyone knew that Kristen had an idol, right? They saw it. It was
Yeah.
called
yeah,
out.
she wanted it with the sandbags in the water.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's a good
That was a
point.
public idol.
It would have been worse to get out, take Logan's.
Logan's, right. Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's not as well known. Right.
So he ends up
so it was
choosing-
a great move. So he takes that
Excellent.
idol
Excellent move.
and everybody votes.
And then I think Miles makes the right choice. Once you have a public idol, like you did the last time you had a public idol, I think you just have to use it immediately. It's only going to put a target on your back the longer people know you have it. You know, he just made this big ordeal taking the idol. He has to play it. So everyone walks up.
This is the second
They-
time he's played an idol and benefited from it, like it actually worked.
Yeah, he played it correctly.
Right.
So it's unbelievable how it was a great show for Miles. He stands up and he says, you know, there's a snake I want to save.
Yeah, right. That was
Oh, yeah.
funny.
He's like, has this fun, like he ties in the buddy system and everything. So I think Miles knows how to put on a show. And
Right.
you could tell that he likes Survivor because he really is enjoying playing the game. He's smiling, he's laughing. And it was just insane. Jonathan kept saying, Polly does not count. Polly does not count. I thought it was never going to end. This
Right.
has to be a record for like how many votes have been canceled out by an idol. It was 9 in total, I
It
think.
was 9. That's what I counted too, 9.
But and
So-
then who did AJ and Miles decide to vote out? So it was all up to them. They decided who went home.
Yeah, Miles, AJ, and Polly.
And
Oh, Polly, right,
Yep,
correct.
all 3 of them voted for PD.
Yeah.
They were the 3 votes sending PD home.
So that's, I mean, it's good because it helps the game, I think, with PD not in the game because he shouldn't be playing the game. But could Miles have come up with a better person to vote out, you know, somebody more strategic? Could he have gotten Laura or Logan and made a bigger move? So it was a big move, but not for necessarily a big key player.
No, you're correct.
Yeah, I mean, if Miles would have stolen Logan's idol and then voted her out with it, that would have solidified him for the next season of Heroes versus Villains for sure.
right.
But I think that it makes sense to get. I was happy to see PD go. I mean, he seems like a very nice person, but in terms of the show, he's not really causing a lot of drama. He's not being very messy. So as a viewer, I feel like I wouldn't want to see him make it to the end as just a goat being dragged along. So I was okay with him going home at this point. But you're right. He could have made, you know, like a bigger move if he had taken out Logan or Laura at this point. But it could be too soon for that. We're not even at the jury part. It sounds like the next person's going to be on the jury.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Well, yeah, PD, once again, I don't feel like we know who he is. And then unfortunately, it's too bad about his arm, but he couldn't participate. So I think it was time to go. It's just too bad the producers didn't decide to send him home instead of a player having to use an idol.
Yeah, I mean, it's too bad to see him go in any capacity, you know, to end his dream of being on Survivor. I probably think he should have gone home as a medical pool. But I think last night we were talking about how he should have maybe bowed out and said, okay, I'm injured. I
Yes.
can't play the challenges. But then I was thinking, we kind of said the opposite about Ben, how he quit because he may or may not have, you know, had pneumonia or something.
I see.
So I understand why PD was like, you know, if they're going to let me play, I'm going to go through it all the way that I can. So I have to give him some respect for that. They were allowing him to play. So of course he was going to play it as hard as he could. So good for him for sticking with that.
You're right. You made good points. I agree with you.
Yep. So PD's gone. We don't have to worry about his sling anymore.
No.
And so he can get some better medical care, maybe some physical therapy or whatever he needs. So that's good.
Yeah, and so it was so
and now-
exciting. Like you said, the tribal was so exciting because of Miles. He's the one who made it exciting. He was ready. He said he wanted to play, and he played tonight.
Yeah, so he is a great player, very impressive to watch. I was also thinking at the end of the thing, I think it was Laura said, there's a reason he's a rat. He's really living up to his name. But he kind of stole Laura's move, right? Laura was the first one to
that's
say,
right.
should we save Polly and get out PD? And now for the PD vote.
Yeah.
And for pulling Polly over.
And then
So-
Zara stole her advantage. And said, yeah, that's not right.
So Laura must not be feeling too good right now.
Right. Well, I was thinking Miles' friends at home watching the show must be like, oh my God, good for you, Miles. They must be so happy for him.
Right. So did you
Yeah,
see
and-
it? Oh, go ahead, Rachel.
Oh, I was going to say, I think he was the one who was at home making spreadsheets and everything preparing
Right.
for the
Yes,
game.
right.
So it's fun to see someone who's so passionate and so excited to be in the game making these huge moves.
Right. Put some prep into it. Right.
Yeah.
So I was going to say, I think it was Logan who said at the end when they were picking up their torches and leaving, she looked at AJ and said, did you know about this? And he said, I may have, or
Yes,
something like
right,
that.
right.
So I thought, oh, the beginning of the next episode is going to be so great when they all start yelling at each other.
Yeah,
I'm
we're
looking
in for a
forward to
treat
it.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much to everyone who has been participating in our polls and commenting on our posts. It's so fun to hear about what's happening, over in Australia, learning about the AFL. So thank you so much for sharing the information with us. We love hearing from you guys. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at ATA Survivor, TikTok at ATA Survivor, and send us an email at ataustraliansurvivor@gmail.com. Let us know your winner pick at this point, and let us know if you were Miles, would you have taken Kristen's idol or would you have taken Logan's? And how do you think it's going to work out for him moving forward? Thanks for joining us, and we'll be back tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.